Welcome everybody back to another video on Cracked Wide Open. Today I want to talk a little bit about the dark night of the soul. I kind of think it's pretty relevant as if I do it as I'm going through it. It seems I found a lot of videos out there that are kind of out there after the fact. So I wanted to share a little bit about it as I'm going through the process. So if you guys haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. The series Cracked Wide Open, if you want to see those videos, they will be under that section in my video section. If you don't want to watch those videos, don't watch. I will still put up other videos, grower videos, and things like that for you guys. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for coming in. I just wanted to be as authentic as I could about this because I think if I can help one person through their soul's journey of an awakening, spiritual awakening, the dark night of the soul, it's inevitable. It's nature. It's going to happen. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me take a little sip of coffee here. There comes a time when many of us encounter great changes. I kind of say it's a changing of the guards, if you will. The dark night of the soul is defined as a collapse of a perceived meaning of life. A spiritual awakening, I think, is the singular, most powerful catalyst to the dark night of the soul. It's a period of, for me, it's been a period of sadness, depression, anxiety, anger, fear, worthlessness, sadness. Any emotion that you could think about, I've probably felt it. And it is due to the actual ego's death. The death that occurred when me, you, our perception of self and reality and your role within that reality has a shift. And ego and mind just seem to fall to the wayside. And it's a challenging time. And it's even fucking painful. The phrase "the dark night of the soul" actually comes from what I could find about it. It comes from, it's not really written down in any spiritual books that I've been able to really resource for modalities or why it happens. And there's many videos on YouTube about what the dark night of the soul is. And I'm just going to give you my perception. But most of the videos that I have seen have been how to handle it after the fact. And I think it really behooves someone to put myself out here as raw as I am, as authentic as I am, and as oneness as I am with God and divine or source or the doorknob or whatever you identify with as God, okay? So in the readings that I found that the phrase "the dark night of the soul" comes from St. John of Cross. It was written in 1992 or published in 1942 to 1951, I believe. And it was a Spanish monk and mystic who translated "the dark night of the soul." He translated it, though, in a 8-stanza poem, which outlined his journey from distractions and entanglements of the world to its perfect peace and harmony, a union with God. And he kind of phrased it like it was kind of synonymous with traveling the narrow road, if you will. It's beautiful what happens to you, and at the same time, you don't know what's happening to you. And so I want to share it with you. If you have questions, please leave the questions in the comment section because this is for you guys. Don't be afraid to ask the question. And I'm going to tell you why here in a minute, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about what causes the dark night of the soul. Like I said, I think it's a catalyst of a spiritual awakening. And a spiritual awakening is a rite of, I'm not going to say it's a rite of passage, but it's sort of a rite of passage, if you will. And everyone has a God-given free will. And you have the right to choose that free will any way you want. So if there have been people who have had, let's say, a dark night of the soul perpetuated after they had a spiritual awakening and they denied or resisted their spiritual awakening, they experienced a dark night of the soul because it's pretty hand in hand. They're going to fucking together, okay? They're going together, okay? So it's the things that cause it. There's a number of things that can cause this shift, but this shift is a total, for me, it's a total collapse. It's a total death of who I believed I was, who I was married to, what I did in my job, what I did in my personal life, who my friends were, where I lived, what I wore, what I drove, fuck, even what I wanted to wear, okay? It's a sudden life-changing event that's shocking, and it's shocking to the very core of your belief system in life. How you have gotten by this far in life has been on a belief system that you have in your subconscious mind. And we operate on that core belief system of self, and we think that is fucking living. How many times have you heard a friend say, I'm guilty of saying this myself. I'm going to just sit here and die. Grow up and die. Who's going to give a fuck? You know, who's going to give a fuck? No one. A spiritual awakening is the singular most powerful catalyst, you know, for the dark night of the soul. When you have a spiritual awakening, when I had a spiritual awakening, I didn't know it was a spiritual awakening. When I'm going through this right now, this dark night of the soul, I didn't know it's called the dark night of the soul. I just knew a few things, and this is what I knew. This came on sudden. It can happen because of a death in the family. It can happen because of the absolute collapse of a structure that you utterly fucking had faith and believed in, and that structure collapsed and you saw it for what it was, a tragic event. I've even read in some cases that they can just come on out of nowhere. You have to remember that the dark night of the soul is inevitable for everyone. The awakening is inevitable for everyone. It's coming, so get ready. And when I tell you it's coming, here's what I'm finding out. A lot of people have had them or had something similar to them or the dark night of the soul, and they create resistance. And that's your free will. And that's what I want to be clear about this. That is your free will. You can buck a spiritual awakening. You can buck a dark night of the soul. And you can shut your spirituality down again if you choose to. That's your free will. I choose not to do that. I choose not to do that, and I'll tell you why when we get a little bit further into this. You know, the symptoms of this, you doubt everything you know to fucking be true. I'm looking at the chat. Hello, everybody. You don't know who you are anymore. It's, you don't know what you're going to do, who you're going to do it with, where you're going to live. It's painful, it's gut-wrenching. And the ego and the mind is basically just falling, like if you hit a fly with a damn fly swatter, it's fallen to the ground. Okay, you remember the events which happen in your life, however there's no emotions attached to them. You know what I'm saying? These events, I can recall them, but there's no heart, no emotion attached to them. They simply were false beliefs and lies, and I no longer believe the old perception. I no longer believe the old belief system that I was living on, living my life based on. And that's why this came about. It's not, it, you know, God wants us to be one with one with God, one with oneness. And I'm going to put up more videos on that. And because people have different, bless their hearts, and they have a purpose. And I'm not begrudging anybody anything because I went to church myself. Religion is part of the problem. I have found some very deep-seated Christian beliefs within my belief system that have had me curled up on the floor crying. Okay? So if you think you don't have something within you, oh, you do. It's buried. There'll be shit that will come up. You don't know where it came from. You don't know why you feel that way. You don't know who you are, one, and so you're scared shitless. You feel that you have lost the absolute identity of who you are. And that's what the dark is of the dark night of the soul, in my opinion. The soul, in this portion of the title, is the soul, the higher soul, reaching out to me saying, hey, you've been living life on these terms for this fucking long, and it's not serving you, and I'm trying to learn here, and I'm your higher good, and I can't do this alone. You have a mind, you have a body, which is your physical body, and you have a higher soul. You have a mind, soul, and body. And when you have this stuff happen to you, and this is why I'm doing this live, because you can see my vulnerability, the rawness, my heart is beating so hard right now. I can't even tell you the symptoms that I'm having, but I think that it is going to help somebody, because this shit is not for I understand why people would buck a spiritual awakening. I understand why people would create resistance and not be in the ebb and flow and be passive with oneness. Get it. Get it. Our ego is one of the strongest things that you will ever come across. Your ego, your vanity, the system that you taught your mind to function on, the same system that puts you on autoplay when you crawl out of bed in the morning and put your feet in the same slippers and tap the same alarm in the morning, take your poop at the same time, put your coffee on at the same time. Do something different, and your ego will buck you the whole time. The whole time. Now imagine your immense, complete identity falling to the fucking ground in a blink of an eye, like someone had put a light switch on. That's how it happens. So when they say in the Bible, when they say in the fucking Bible, get ready, it's coming, he is not talking about the Messiah. He is not talking about the fucking fire. And he is not talking about the fucking that's supposed to end our world. He's talking about your awakening. Get ready. It's coming. It's coming. And the only option you have is one of two things. get on board, walk your truth, speak your truth, or buck it and stay in free will and stay in a lower vibrational realm where narcissists, negative, corrupt, evil souls want to cross your path. I don't want to be part of that. So it is deep. It is deep. The ego and the mind is falling away. You remember events in your life, right? That have happened in your life. However, there's no emotion that's I remember from my events attached. None. They're gone to the wayside. The love I thought I felt for a man of 28 years, not love. The security I thought I had in my home, home, beautiful boat, retired fucking nurse, gone. Gone. We tell ourselves, many things. Some of them will be the money is the root of all evil. We must stay up with the Joneses. I'm going to work paycheck to paycheck. I'm always going to be on this fucking hamster wheel. It's everybody else's fault that I got up feeling this way today. The reason my bank account is overdrawn because I don't know. I didn't, here's what you do. And it isn't by any fault of our own, okay? It's not. Bless our fucking souls. We were born. And I've said this before. And it's just the way I'm going to highlight the example again. Your mother is pregnant with you in her belly. You're pregnant with your baby. Your mom's pregnant. 9 months, that baby rolls around in amniotic fluid with that mom, directly attached to her mother's soul by umbilical cord. They're playing, they're talking, they're loving, they're communicating. Mom goes in labor. Out comes the baby. Doctor cuts the cord. Gives mom some fucking Demerol. Shoves her in recovery. Takes the baby, sticks her in a bassinet. Puts her in a room under a fucking bright light. She's insecure now. She's fucking scared shitless now. And she feels her mother's abandoned her. And she's full of fucking fear. 4 emotions that baby feels the minute she's removed from her mother's womb. Now that baby's fragmenting those emotions. That baby's fragmenting those emotions because she is trying to learn a behavior in her mind. She's trying to learn an adaptive behavior in her mind that she cannot comprehend. She doesn't know what fear feels like. She's never felt it before, but she fucking feels it now because she's away from her mother. She's never felt abandonment in her goddamn life. But now she feels abandonment because you've taken her from her mother where she's been home with her mom. She didn't know any of those emotions, but a baby is born with all 5 senses. So if you are born at the beginning of life with 4 of those things out of whack, abandonment, fear, insecurity, doubt, and anger because you don't know where the fuck your mom is, even why it's happening. Do you think you don't go through life fragmenting those things? Hello. You do. You fragment them. And the reason we fragment them is because we think it is a coping mechanism. And in all aspects, our ego is a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism that divine gave us to say, I don't want that. Or that's just ego, or that's just bullshit. And that's why I don't want it, because I recognize it as what it is. Okay? Some can call a dark night of the soul an existential crisis. And the reason they do that is because it's a physiological, I can't even say the word, psychological, no, that's not the word I want to say. Physiological, that's the word I want to say. This is a physiological current capture in literal work, okay, which revolves around how we experience life with our human conditions in the 3D world, that is. Life as we live it alongside with our neighbors, our spouses, our kids, our pets, for good and for bad, for troublesome parts, for blissful parts. We fragment. When a wife says, my husband's making me feel bad, she may very well have on one hand a husband that's not paying her any emotional attention that she needs. Okay? But her root of her abandonment issues are not, or haven't, and didn't begin with her husband. They began a long, 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 long time ago. So the dark night of the soul is actually, it's a disillusion of your worldview, your reality, the people, the places, and the things in your life that you held so fucking dear. You believe the illusion. We grow up believing the illusion. We all did it, we all do it, and we operated on that illusion. Do you ever say, to somebody, why, or someone else say to you, that's always happening to me. Why does that continually happen to me? No matter how bad it is, it fucking continues to happen to you. Why do you suppose that is? Maybe it's your false self-belief on a belief system that is not true. Now, does some government, does some religion, and does some other establishments or organizations have its place? Yes, they do. Excuse me. I know for me, prior to my spiritual awakening, I found solace in church. I found solace in church because I've always been a spiritual person. Always. Not a religious person. Spiritual. I always knew there was something out there in the cosmos. Remember telling my parents that when I was fucking 9. Remember that there was more than what the fuck people go through. And my question is, during the dark night of the soul, those false views and that reality, those people and those places, your false beliefs, the things that you very much function on in a subconscious mind, I'll tell you what. There's two things I'll give you. It's a given. Given. You probably don't know you're doing it unless you're a narcissist. And you don't know what the fucking problem is. You know something's wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. You know something keeps happening to you, but you don't understand why it keeps happening to you. Maybe look at your belief system. Because, hello everybody, thank you for coming in. Everything is different. Everything is different. Those people, those places, those things that you identify with as your core, I'm talking about your fucking core belief. Okay? I was raised on some pretty strong core beliefs, and I'm going to tell you what they are. If I got my ass whipped from my father, I was told to go outside and get a switch. And if I got a switch, and if I got a little one, he was going to go pick one and beat the shit out of me. Okay? Fear. Fragment. I know I did something wrong. I probably should be punished for it. But he's going to beat the holy living tar out of me with a goddamn tree stick. Does that make my dad a bad man? No. I was raised very fucking good. And I think I might have got 3 lickings with that thing, But it's not the action. Because my father, my mother, or the people, my brothers, my sisters, my classmates, my teachers, my president of my fucking country when I was growing up, my co-workers, my boss, all, we all did the same thing, fragmented. We all have our own belief system. And it's not going to be until your absolute core belief is shaken to the fucking ground. And I'm going to use this as an example because I use deviations. I'm a tarot reader. I love reading tarot cards. Good at it. I have psychic ability. And now it's even fucking lit on fire, man. It's amazing. But the point is that see, I can't even sit here and blow smoke up your fucking ass because this is coming as it's happening to me. Okay? This is happening to me. This is where it's happening to me. And I'm doing this, excuse my boob, I'm sorry. I'm doing this on the my house just got emptied out today. My house closes Friday. I get my money on Friday. And do you think for a minute, think about this. I was married 28 years. I was established in my community, 40-year trauma nurse, a reputable grower, made my own organic products, did apothecary, had a dog, car, boat, home. I live on a private lake. If you would ask the common person, walker by on the street, they'd say, that's one lucky bitch. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe that too. I believe that too. That was my core essence. Family, stability, structure. That's how I was raised. Structure, foundation, right? When a spiritual awakening happens, you can live in the box. Therefore, you can get that. The shit has all symbols. The house I lived in was no home. There was no laughter. There was no joy. There was no fun. There was no intimacy. There was no sex. There was no compassion. There was no fucking love. So it wasn't home. I kept telling myself with my core beliefs that I could change someone. I could make them do what I wanted if they just fucking behaved. And I'm telling you, in the matter of 30 days, my house was on the market. I filed for divorce. I moved out. It is now not even 80 days later. My house is closed. My divorce will be final in August. He has his own place. I get paid on my house. The owner takes possession Friday. Do you think I'm not experiencing something with me remembering the events that have happened to me? And I want to say this with the utmost love in my heart. I had some beautiful memories with a man I spent 28 years. I know two things for sure. It wasn't in my family, my actual core fucking beliefs. No goddamn lie. And 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 you can do one of two things. And I've seen this happen with many, many people. They'll say, I'm gonna stay for the kids. Do you think your kids live up here? Do you think your kids are your fucking higher self? No. You're not just a mother. You're not just a wife. You're not just a coworker. You're not just a boss. You're not just a fucking grower. You are a human being that God has said, what do you want, darling? Everything you want is right here. You have two choices. Free will. Live one in consciousness with me, and that is pure fucking love, people. And you can live over here. Yeah. I have a lot to say about those false beliefs that people walk around in slumber sleeping about, and we'll address that on another video. I want you to know that when you have this happen to you, if you're going through this, and if you have this happening to you, I'm going to tell you some things that I did and that I'm experiencing because I want you to know how fucking wrong I am. Because the very essence of who the fuck I thought I was shattered. The three things that remained in my life is my grow, my apothecary, and my soap, my probes. That's it. Those are the three things that brought me joy and purpose and love. And that's why they didn't fall to the wayside, because they're serving. They're serving the greater good of God. They're serving the greater good of others. I make beautiful, beautiful organic cannabis, CBD, and non-infused products. Pet-friendly, organic, vegan-friendly, that I share with the universe to nurture their. I've been doing that for a long time. I love that shit. Okay? And I am growing a God-given plant, given to us by divine, and I'm using it as an alternative medication. It's serving me. I'm not on pharmaceuticals. I'm not addicted to street drugs. I'm not stealing and rubbing people off because I want to get a fix because I can't afford my prescriptions. You know? We are all damaged souls. We are damaged souls on a very deepest level. Please, if you have a question, please send it at sign for PJ. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in. So much for coming in. So much. I really do appreciate you guys. We are damaged on such a deep level that you may even look in the mirror and you may even say to yourself, crazy. What's happening? You're going to say that. You're going to say that. And here's what's happening. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we're fragmented, our emotions, right? And we used it as a coping mechanism, which turns out to be one of our greatest lies. It's one of the greatest lies that we've ever told ourselves. And we learn to adapt to emotions and life's events based on what happens to us. And I'm going to do a video on ego versus higher self, vice versa. Which one versus what, you know? I'm going to tell you, here's how strong my ego has been, okay? Now, I'm a lovely person. I am. And I'm good company to be around, okay? And some girls asked me over to paint. And I knew it was not a good day for me because I had already had some of this stuff going on, right? And I thought, okay, I'm not going to resist. I'm going to go with the flow. And I'm going to go paint. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of a backstory on this because it'll help you along the way. When I was small, my parents had used to get the TV guide. You know, the one that comes in the mail? And on the back of that TV guide was a little cartoon character, and his name was Spunky. Okay? And I drew that character, Spunky. And I did such a fabulous job to, my parents thought, oh, they got an artist on their hands. And they kind of pushed me and driven me to use it in that aspect, fragmenting. I was fucking coloring. I was having fun. I was a kid. I wasn't looking for a fucking profession in artwork. And why was that imprinted on me in the fucking first place? I was too young to even open up my mouth and say, hey, I want to be a painter. I want to be an artist when I grow up. And I thought in my head. But it was imprinted. And I learned that behavior to where I literally put my coloring books down, stopped drawing, and stopped coloring. And so when I was going through this spiritual awakening and I got an invite to go over to this lady's houses and have lunch and paint, we were just going to sit and paint these beautiful boxes that she does. She's a fabulous painter. And my other friend, she's a fabulous rock painter, right? Okay. I acted like a 3-year-old child, stomping her feet, and I said, I refuse to fucking. You think I refused to paint because I don't like to paint? Or because I wanted to be nasty to the ladies? No, not in the least. In fact, I had to eat crow and apologize the next day because my behavior was unacceptable. But at the time when I was in it, I didn't know that I didn't know how to play nice and paint. Because I was not going to let this inner child in me sit down on the floor and fucking laugh and enjoy herself and paint whatever she wanted on that rock or that box or whatever she was painting, right? My ego fought me so hard that, do you know, I left their house, never painted a thing, never allowed my inner child to paint. My creativity was stuffed early on with that spunky character, and my parents probably didn't even know that that was a fragmentation, and it was a behavior that I learned, that I believed, and I began to tell the truth to myself about, and said, you're not fucking creative. You're never gonna fucking create shit. So do you see how it comes, how your ego, and when you're on the ground, when you're on the ground, because your ego is the chatter mind, right? When you go down the freeway and you say that and that and and you have road rage, it's your ego. You just use that as an example because anybody. I'm sure you know one person who has road rage. You can't get in the car without them the whole way from point A to point B, right? That's their ego telling them that. That's their ego. And I have had other incidences where my roommate, beautiful couple, beautiful person, him and his wife took the pontoon boat out, and now they have asked me to go out on the water in their pontoon boat probably more than 8 times. I've gone. Because here, my ego is saying, you are worthless. You are never going to amount to shizzle. Why are you going to go have fun? Anyway, you're just going to stay here and isolate, depressed, cry, and moan and hurt and go through some more fucking agony because you can't let the ego go. So, if you're going through a spiritual awakening or you're going through a dark night of the soul, there's not a lot of modalities that I have found that have been extremely helpful. The only thing that you can do is, hello, thank you for coming in, right? Is that, like I told you, we have fragmented our emotions as a coping mechanism. And so what turns out to be the greatest lie that we've ever told our fucking selves, right? That's why a woman that's being abused, she will tell herself she's going to go back and she doesn't leave and that she stays. And nobody knows why she stays. She has deep-seated issues, punishment, self-worth. She feels worthless, less than. She feels like she deserves it. She has some deep-seated issues that may not even be aware of, but she has them. Because when you ask her why she stays, she can't give you a straight answer. So it's when we adapt our emotions based on things that happen to us, those are not true. Those are not true at all. They're not true. I'm going to think of an example because they're not true. They're not. It's like, thank you. I'm going to chop it off because it's driving me crazy. I really think I am. I want to say two things about this. The dark night of the soul, it's inevitable. It's nature. It's natural. When they say it is a form of psychological depression, it is a form of depression, but it is spiritual depression. And spiritual depression is a whole lot different than physical depression. Spiritual depression is natural. It comes on or comes about naturally. A physical depression is not natural. It's a chemical imbalance in your body that's causing a physical depression or a physical imbalance in your brain. Okay? There's a huge difference. So when people say that the dark night of the soul is depression, that's half the truth, but it is a spiritual depression. Because I can think back of things that occurred to me possibly in school, fist fights and things like that, things that I fragmented and did and probably they didn't go the way I wanted them to go, and that my ego, my shame, and my guilt. Because here's the 5 things that I'm finding. Shame, guilt, abandonment, worthlessness, fear, and anger. Okay? That's it. It's a lot. In my whole life, I have based my absolute core belief system right here in my mind that everything I just said to you, I was going to be scared shitless all my life. Someone was going to abandon me. I was never going to amount to anything. No one ever heard my voice, right? But when you stop and you look at my life story, that's not the things I just described is really not would be a really weakened person, right? I mean, I raised a child from the time I was 17 years old. His dad passed away when he was 14. I was a 40-year trauma nurse. I went to college 2 times for 2 different degrees, one in respiratory, one in nursing. You know, that's not a stupid woman. So when I talk to people about this and they say, and I said this because I said it, because I've been on a spiritual journey probably all my life, not a religious one, but a spiritual one. I've always done divinations, I've always read cards, I've always, meditated. I do certain things in the esoteric world, which you think your higher self is part of you. Yes, she is, he is, whatever, but it's also part of the cosmos. And that's why you can't. That's why it's so hard for you to integrate what I'm fucking saying to you. Because when you feel this, just you will say, anyone in my path that wants to put me asleep or create negativity or discord in my life and stuff my very essence out of who the fuck I am and where I'm headed, brother, you better get out of the way. Because I'm going to take your ass down. Take it down as nice as I can, but you're going. Because I have denied myself the very essence. Think about it. A mother at 17, married, he passes away. Now I'm a single mom, going to college, raising a kid. Everyone on his father's side, 6 people, 6, count them, died in 2 fucking years. My son lost everyone on his father's side in 2 years, and 2 of them were severe traumatic deaths. A drug overdose and a fucking alcohol poisoning. You think we didn't fragment? You think my son and I didn't fragment? Oh. And I was in, and now we gotta bury his dad. And it wasn't until I graduated nursing school and got where I was at that I really started getting back into my fucking flow. Just to get smacked down again with more tragedy in my life. And here's, you guys, the thing that I want to say about this is that it isn't, and I've always said this, it is not what happens to you that fucking matters. Here's what happens to you. Here's how I'm living now. I can't even explain this cinnamon bun, but we're just going to call her a cinnamon bun. She's stuffed right there. Okay? And that is me, divine. And we are rocking like, I can't even tell you. And I'm vibrating on a level that should be fucking killing me, I think. But that's my ego talking. Okay? That's my ego saying, you shouldn't be vibrating like that. Something's not normal about that. Well, you know what, motherfucker? You wrong. Because there is nothing better ever anywhere than this feeling. I can't get it with a house. I can't get it with $1,000,000. I can't get it with a. You can name whatever you want. You ain't getting it. I don't want it. I'll take this right here, right now, this oneness with God. This has been part of my spiritual awakening. The dark night of the soul has been inevitable for me. And you can ask anybody that knows me, they'll say, she is one stubborn bitch. And I am. And I've been kicking and screaming, kicking and screaming. And I want to tell you, I'll say, how long does it last? It's going to last as long as your ego continues to chatter to you. When you get up in the morning and you're feeling really good, and you say, oh, I'm going to go do that today, and I'm feeling really good, and you take a shower and you go to do it, and you go to get to the door, and you can't turn the fucking handle. You can't go outside. Why do you suppose that is? I took everything out to make a soap. Everything was out. Stuffed it back in the drawer. Everything else. I didn't paint. I didn't go on the boat. Everything else. We souls here in this 3D plane, we like suffering. We love to make ourselves suffer. I'll stay here. I'll isolate. I'll show that mother effer. Who you show me? And why? What's the fucking point? Did God not say, I want you to have everything in life that you want? He did. He didn't tell me about this. He didn't tell me this was going to happen to me. Maybe he did. I don't know. But the very essence of who the fuck I am is gone. So when you say to me, what color do you want your hair? Where do you want to live? I don't know. Well, what kind of fucking car do you want to drive? I don't know. I can't read a book. It's almost like you are literally that baby that was taken from its mother, and you are learning all over again. You have to teach yourself how to play, how to love yourself. What? I have to love myself? What the fuck? I can love everybody else around me. I can give everyone around me the underwear off my ass. No questions asked. Be my soul. Why do you suppose I feel the need to punish myself? I've never done anything so badly in my life to where I would need that kind of punishment. But I've told myself in my subconscious mind, you a bad girl. Go outside and get a switch, and if it ain't big, it will be your ass. That's one statement. I know people in my generations, when they went to grade school, the fucking teacher would slap their hand with a ruler. Something back to fragmentus. It's like, I know these are hard topics to talk about, and that's why these these topics, spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul, when you have something like this happen to you in your life, and you go and you tell your friends, they look at you like you're fucking lost your mind because they don't understand it. And it is no fault of their own. And bless their souls, they're trying to understand it. And sleeping still. So it's not by any fault of their own. What the whole issue is not how they respond to me. The whole issue is how I respond to them. Because they are a God-given soul that has the very same right I have to have oneness with divine. What right do I have to treat them like shit or not integrate with them just because I'm awake and they're not? That's that's a whole integration video. Just going in society and integrating with individuals that you know are asleep and that are blood-sucking fucking vampires. Just sucking your light right out of you. Right? Just sucking the life right out of you. Narcissists, they suck the fucking life right out of you because they have no empathy. But a narcissist doesn't become a narcissist on his own. That narcissist has some deep-seated shame, deep-seated guilt, and they're fragmented and they're fucked up. And you know, they know the difference between right and wrong. They just choose by free will to behave that way on that level. And I can't do that. No, I can't do it. That's probably a part that's perpetuated, is that you allow yourself to walk into situations deliberately where you know someone is going to take advantage of you. And you know it. And you do it anyway. You do it anyway. A psychic vampire is a two-way, it's a two-way agreement. They leave when you cut them off. Yeah, it's a two-way agreement. As soon as a psychic vampire is exposed, you know, that's a whole nother video, you guys. I don't want to get into that topic because I'm going to do a video on narcissism. I'm going to teach that too because I wear the goddamn shirt. And it's not Victor's fault either. You know, Victor's a damaged soul just like the rest of us. So people say, how do you, what are you going to do? How are you going to get out of it? How long is it going to last? You know, what are the symptoms like? It's going to last as long as you fight your ego. As long as you do not surrender and you create resistance, like I do, where you won't go color, you won't go outside, you won't enjoy Cheryl, you're going to be on the floor crying, fucking saying all kinds of shit to yourself, losing your shit. It's because you're attached to a goddamn umbilical cord over there that says ego, ego, ego. And it's not, it's strong. You have been operating on that system all your life, baby girl. That shit is strong. And you want to control everything. It's not your job to control shit. And so that's why I'm saying to you guys, I want to do these videos according to the topics that are coming up for me. And show you how vulnerable, how raw you are. You will feel lonely, sad, shameful, guilty, worthless, finished, tossed to the side, shit on. And you're going to say to yourself, I deserved it. God damn, I deserved every bit of that. So I ask you, these are tough topics. Tough topics. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is hand to God, and I don't give two shits if you don't believe me. When you live or have lived in an esoteric world in your mind since the age of 7 or 8, and you dabble in tarot cards and psychic, and you have psychic mediumship, and you have a spiritual awakening, the first thing you will realize is how many goddamn souls are floating around you. And you know why? Because they see your light and they did not connect with us. So they see your light. They see your light. They see your light and they see you have attached to oneness with God. And now this person has passed on. You think if you don't have oneness with God and you pass on, you're going to spend eternal life with God? You go spend it in limbo, and someone that's had an awakening in the 3D or 5D plane, they're going to go, oh, look at that spirit. Look at that one. Look at that one. There are fucking millions of them. Millions. Millions. I was telling my guru, what the fuck? Because, and you can ask my roommate when I Reiki the dogs, an animal will show you where a spirit is before you even see it. And they're all over me. They're not touching me because I've set boundaries. You know, I've set boundaries. I have a spiritual temple and I hold it highly, highly close to me. And I honor it and I protect it with divine guided light through oneness of God. And that's the only thing that can be there. Now, these souls that are coming in and out, if my soul is so fucking fragmented, when these souls are walking all around the universe, you don't see them, but you're walking around with a fragmented soul. Do you think blood-sucking vampires and negative energy ain't going, let me attach to that motherfucker? And you take on people's shit and you don't even know why you're doing it. You'll go into a grocery store and you'll be mad at someone and you'll go, well, I don't even know why I'm mad. Why the hell am I mad? I was in a great mood. I know you guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. You go somewhere and you're perfectly fine, but somebody will say something and it will light you up. And if you just sit back and go, who the hell is that? And why do you behave like that? I'm telling you, some things you do because the way we walked around with these core beliefs that were lies and false beliefs that weren't true. You will walk into a situation and something will imprint on you without your knowledge. You didn't invite it, but you're fragmented. Your soul has holes in it. And if you have holes in your souls, you have room for dark light to enter, don't you? The yin and the yang, the dark and the light. Negative energy is dark. Ego, vanity, dark. Why do you think it causes so much suffering? Yeah, that's true. That's true, so that's true. I have, I have, here's what I've done, and what I want to say about the whole thing. And this is why I did, again, why I'm doing it live like these as I'm going through it, because I think it has more validity to it and you will get it, hopefully. When you are in the trenches of this, and you are having that chatter, that ego chatter up in your head that tells you your shame, you should feel shame, guilt, you should loathe yourself, you're disgusting, you don't deserve shit, you're not worthy, you're never going to amount to anything, you might as well lay down and die, you're always going to be this person. That's the strong ego talking. It's not your higher self. Your higher self is saying, I can't do this alone, bitch. I'm a baby in here. I'm a kid. I'm a kid. God damn it. I am your higher self, and I can't do this by myself. I need your help. So you're going to have to get your shit together over there, and I'll wait here. I'll wait here for you as long as it takes. God damn, my head's tingling. The line's touching me. Touch it. You know, I'm telling you, so many beautiful things happen to you guys, but what I want to tell you the most is this. Spiritual awakening is your God-given right. Whether you have a spiritual awakening to the validity that I've had one, and you know your path is going to be a spiritual teacher, grower, popular medicine woman. It doesn't have to be that journey for you. It can be whatever your soul's purpose is. But I know a few things for fact. And I don't know many people that are walking around that have had a spiritual awakening and that are speaking this kind of fucking truth to people without any concern of judgment, bias, opinion, character. I don't give two shits. Because if one person can resonate with what I am saying, and they help another person, and then they go back and they say, it's never said that. So being a spiritual teacher and having a spiritual awakening, it's an easy task. It's a challenging task. I think you will get bump up against a bunch of overwhelming challenges. But it's not about what I bump into. It's about the journey. It's about the journey. And as long as I have oneness, God, and my good flow, I will fight every single day to remove every single little bit of aspect of ego that wants to creep its ugly freaking face in and scream. Okay? Now my residuals are getting less. Okay? But that doesn't mean shit. All that means is that this issue, you've done the inner work, the shadow work, you've released it. So when you say, is it over? It's never going to. There are always going to be lessons that we need to learn. There's always going to be discord that's going to come our way. And we are going to want to either deal with our shit through ego and vanity and narcissism and negativity, or we're going to deal with it through love and light and oneness with God. The choice is yours. I know it was mine too. And I'm here to say I don't judge anybody because I'm the first one that stood up and say to the pastor, "Oh, believe every word you're saying to me. You gave me peace. You gave me solace." Taking that from anyone, and there's a place for it. I'm just speaking the truth. That's it. That's it. You know, religion is a man-made story. And it depends on what religion you deal with. The man who wrote that story, it's going to be his perception. So, during this spiritual awakening or dark night of the soul, if someone says to you, no, you're going to want to smoke the shit out of it. You'll say, the next person who tells me to fucking just chill out, I swear to God, I'm going to just knock the shit out of you. But what I've found is that through meditation, sitting with self during that meditation and asking yourself, something's touching me, and asking yourself those hard questions to oneself. What is it that's needed here? Because it's this gut wrenching shadow work. If you think of one thing, fear, that is the total opposite of love. Clearing out shadow work from fear, that one emotion, gut wrenching. And it will take as long as it takes you to let go of that fear, surrender. And what I've done is bucked it, kicked and screamed, got drug around. Then I got drug around some fucking more. I'm probably down to 115 pounds. I'm not eating, treating myself like shit, not playing, not going out. And it's part of it is not ready. I mean, I go to the store, I do that, but I don't go and have any fun. And that's my ego saying, some more, bitch. Before you go and let your hair down, play in the goddamn water, paint a picture, make a fucking soap. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know why I'm hanging on to punishing myself. I'm doing the shadow work, but it's tough. It's tough. It's not. It's not. If I could do, if anybody could do it, they do it, right? I forget that fucking saying. Fun is really relatively for your satisfaction. But if I could say anything at all, if your friends say, go invite you to lunch, or your friends invite you on a boat, or your friends invite you to paint, fucking go. Go. Force yourself. And shut up about it. Do not vomit BS all over your friends because you have your shit, in the toilet. Don't do it. I told her, I said, I probably shouldn't have gone because I knew it wasn't a good day, but I just wanted to test myself and push myself and see what the hell would happen. Don't go if you're not ready. If you're not ready, don't do it. I do go out. I take a shower every day. I'm getting that pay. That is an accomplishment. Because you will lay around in your fucking pajamas with your hair in a ponytail. You don't care. And someone will come to the door and you'll be wiping your nose, crying. They'll be like, they feeling sorry for you. I'm like, I'm okay, I'm okay. And they don't want to leave. Or you go to the grocery store when you're not ready and you fucking start babbling at the checker and she loses her shit because she thinks she's done something to you. So it's a fine balance. So meditate, sit with yourself, ask yourself some difficult questions. Everything you want to know is right here. It's gut-wrenching shadow work, and the inner state of the dark night of the soul is called depression. I told you that, but it's spiritual depression. It's natural. It's not a physical depression. Physical depression happens from a chemical imbalance. Remember, a spiritual depression happens because divine brought it on. It's natural. Nothing makes sense to you anymore. There's no purpose to anything, and something that is triggered it because of some external event, maybe a death, a traumatic event. Your ego self literally is fucking dying. It's dying. And do you think, as strong as your ego is, that it wants to die? Nope. It's going to kick and scream and raise its voice, and it's going to sound ugly, and it's going to drag you through the shit if you let it. The dark night of the soul is inevitable, like I told you. You have no mind. I mean, I base my life now on emotion. If I feel an emotion in my gut, I feel it rise up in my chest. I can feel those hormones, and I get excited about that emotion. I think thought. Think that thought. It produces an action. Fucking body just follows. What I used to do, get up in the morning, and I ran and operated on my mind. There was no emotion attached to it. None. We had it opposite, guys. You must have an emotion. And if you base that in the emotion on something that's a feeling, that's, you know how when you get elated and you have that feeling, that's an emotion. And whatever brought you that happiness, you think about it and you go, oh shit, I want to do it again. Off you're gone. Because now you are living deliberately through oneness, God, fucking reality. And that, my friend, change fucking worlds. Worlds. Houses, boats, cars, money, anything. All of it's energy. Energy. You ever wonder why somebody says, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to be a millionaire? Because they're thinking the thought, feel it. You need to feel the emotion, think thought, and that thought becomes action, and you fucking just respond. That, my friends, that's deliberately good. That's like, grab your pants, baby, because we going. We going. We don't know where we're going, but we're going. We're getting ready to get ready to get ready. Right? Right? So, here's some things that I want you to use. Modalities. And people would say, what are modalities? I don't mean it disrespectful because they said the same thing. She said, we're used to modality. What fucking modalities do you want me to use? Because I'm in nursing and there's a lot of them. If you have music that resonates with you, use it. You go out into the garage like my roommate does, put the hood of a car up, and he can meditate out there while he has his hands in the grease, and that's his place, do it. Whatever gives you that peace in your mind, so that when you get into that meditation, you can ask yourself. And when I say ask yourself, when you say, why am I always feel like I'm never going to amount to anything? Why do I feel worthless? Immediately, your ego is going to answer you. Don't let it. Just sit with the question. And sometimes you may have to sit with that question 5 days, 6 days, and then you get an answer. Divine doesn't work on your timing. She doesn't work on mine. And I only have I only have bits and pieces of the puzzle thus far, I believe. I believe I don't have all of it yet. But you guys, I told you, I'm like, I'm really thinking that physically, I don't want to go through much more suffering for myself. I'm going to rephrase that. I don't want to cause myself any more suffering because I don't think my physical, I mean, I've already pretty much shit all over my physical. I mean, I'm skinny and it's making me a tad nervous, but Divine's telling me, you've been fasting. And it's not because anything other than the spiritual journey that I'm not fucking hungry. And certain things do not taste good at all. And so I don't want them. Namaste, Devi. I would say do some meditation, sit with yourself, ask yourself the hard questions, do the gut-wrenching shadow work that you need to do. Know that you're not crazy. Know you're not losing your mind. Know you're not alone, and nothing makes sense to any of us that are going through it. And you have to try to, it's like that oxymoron that I was telling you about. You almost want to take yourself to the fucking doctor and go, can you just put me up on the mental ward for about a week and give me some Paxil or something because I'm losing my goddamn mind. And it's not the case at all, because God's not going to give you any more than you can handle, and that's why there are awakenings, enlightenments, spiritual awakenings. But everybody, it's inevitable. Everyone's going to have a dark night of the soul, and everyone's going to have an awakening. Get ready. It's coming. Love yourself. Be gentle. Be gentle. Don't be mean to yourself like I am. You didn't gain your false belief system overnight, right? So this will take you some time to work through your shadow work, to get to the root of the pain and the suffering that you keep causing yourself on a daily basis. So very small tasks that bring you joy, solace, peace. And I know, hand to God, how hard that is when I say something that brings you solace and joy, because nothing does. And you will say that to yourself. You will say, I can't even color a goddamn picture and fucking without throwing the coloring book across the room. That's how strong your ego is. You won't be able to read a book because you won't be able to sit down and concentrate. You won't be able to write a damn word on a piece of paper because you won't remember how to fucking spell. You'll think you're a dummy, and it's your ego fucking with you. I was championship with the spelling bee, and I couldn't save a word to save my ass yesterday. It was a simple word. I'm not laughing at you guys. I'm really not. I'm laughing because of the emotions that I'm feeling because I'm teaching and I'm sharing this stuff, and that's what she wants me to do, is to step into my very essence of who I am. Love yourself, and don't just remember you didn't get the way you are overnight. And there are a lot of videos out on YouTube. There are a lot of spiritual teachers. We have a spiritual guru in the room. I call him a guru. That's substitute. He's my guru. So man's pretty knowledgeable, been through it. And that's another thing. The person that you want to speak to, the person that you want to reach out to when you're going through something like this is someone that's been there, because you're going to say, what happens? How long? What's next? And with the dark night of the soul, there's not really anything next for you. For me, at this point, it is integration of my mind, my body, and my soul together. I'm going to do another video next week on soul versus higher self, or ego versus higher self. Because I'm still on this journey and I'm in the trenches. I mean, yeah, I'm feeling skinny. I'm in the trenches. And some days are better than others and some are not. Some days I can't get two words to make sense when they come out of my mouth, or I'll get up to do something and completely forget what the heck I was getting up to get. Stay calm, do nothing, don't do anything. If you're going through the dark night of the soul, don't make any dramatic changes in your life until you're absolutely sure. Just do it. Because I've talked to a few people who have. Now, I didn't do that. I had it. When I first started this, I didn't know if I had a dark night of the soul first and then a spiritual awakening. But the truth of the matter is, you can have dark night of the soul many, many times and just live on free will and stuff it back down. So it's really basically your options. But spiritual awakening is always a catalyst. It's always a catalyst. You shouldn't be embarrassed about it. It's natural. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. A lot of people that think they're going through the dark night of the soul say, oh my God, I did something wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't let anybody tell you did anything wrong. I'm looking at my notes to see if I have anything here. Know that there's not a lot of books that are written about there's a lot of books written about spiritual awakenings and the dark night of the soul, but there's a lot of different definitions of it. And just like the veil being lifted, there's a lot of definitions floating around that are not actually 100% accurate. They're somewhat accurate, but not 100% accurate. And so Eckhart Tolle, he's a very good author to read if you would like to read something on him. He's had a spiritual awakening. He actually does videos on it. Teal Swan, she's a spiritual New Age, I believe a New Age spiritual teacher. She had her spiritual awakening, I believe, in 2000. She's been teaching for 19 years. So the girl's got, a lot of knowledge. There's many other spiritual teachers. I don't want to give all of them out. I don't know. I should just post a link on some that I really follow, because I think when you're going through this, you will reach out and have your iPad, your iPhone, or anything stuffed up your ass, literally trying to find answers. And all it will do, and you will find this out through your journey, is confuse you more. And it won't be until you find someone that is experiencing it or gone through it and knows what you're dealing with, that you're going to find solace. When a soul that's gone through a spiritual awakening doesn't even know you and they hear you speak, they say, reach out to that person because I've been there and I know what she's going through. And had I had someone to talk to, it would have given me so much. And so again, these are tough topics. If you don't want to listen to the topic, don't listen. They'll be under cracked wide open. You know, I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to guide you. I don't know everything. I am in the trenches. But I know this. I know I'm in oneness with God. I know I am ebbing and flowing for, I would say, 98% of my day. And I am beginning to integrate well. My next step is now I'm taking that leap of faith. I'm going to go visit the big bad world out there and make a soap. And I've been telling you guys in a recipe, and of this, and of that, and of this. And you guys are probably like, well, when is she ever going to get it done? I'm working on it. I promise you I am. I'm going to promise I'll get you one up. I think I'm going to do the wine soak since this it's in the freezer, but we'll talk about that on another session. Next week I'll do ego versus higher self. Because since I think it goes with this topic and it's exactly what I'm dealing with is ego and my higher self. My higher self is up here saying, listen, sweetie, God has brought in a tower moment in your life. Spiritual awakening. The absolute core essence of who you thought you were isn't there anymore. And it's difficult to integrate the new. And so a dark night of the soul is absolutely that. It's the death of your ego. And that ego and that fighting and that gut wrenching, that's the dark night. That's the darkness of the dark night of the soul. But the soul end of that title is your soul on the other side with you once you've done this shadow work. Because I'm here to tell you, my friend. When you feel this love, this unconditional love of a cinnamon bun in your fucking heart, you are rocking to a rhythm and you ain't singing, you're not going to ever, ever, ever want to let it go. At least I don't. Though there are people who do, that is their free will. These are tough topics, and not everybody does it. If it was easy, they would. So ask questions. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to go to my guru, and if he don't know the answer, he's going to go to his, and so on, and so on, and so on. You know, you never know who's looking for this information. You never know, and there are a lot of videos out there in the aftermath. So know that the dark night of the soul is inevitable. It's going to happen if you've had an awakening of any kind, or you could just have a dark night of the soul. And maybe you had an awakening and just had too much resistance on it. Didn't notice it. Pushed it aside and you resisted. And one thing I want to say is don't resist. Surrender, surrender, surrender. And when you say you're surrendering, don't just say, no, it's hard. I am good at that. I'm trying to meditate and get into Delta state. And I'm surrender, surrender. ego talking to myself. If I'm saying surrender, surrender, I ain't anywhere near Delta, am I? So your ego's strong. Give yourself a break. Go lightly and love yourself. I'm always here to help. I don't know everything. I don't propose to know everything. And I am not special. I'm not different than just one soul to another soul on a journey